Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we will be continuing our look at the judges of the Marshall Court in our series on the Supreme Court. Um, Last time we reviewed Judges William Johnson through Joseph Story. Today we've got five more that were part of the Marshall Court. So, yeah. First person we are going to talk about is a gentleman named Smith Thompson. He was an associate justice from December or September the 1st, 1823, through December the 18th, 1843, dying in the position of associate justice. He was a associate justice for 20 years and 108 days. He was born in 1768 in Amenia, New York, and died on December of 1843 in Poughkeepsie, New York. Let's see. He was a justice for the Second Circuit because, as we've mentioned already, many of the Supreme Court justices also served as circuit court judges. And his education was from the College of New Jersey, now known as Princeton University, and reading law. And he did serve as a private practice lawyer in Troy, New York, a private practice lawyer in Poughkeepsie, New York, a state assemblyman for New York, a delegate for the New York Constitutional Convention, a justice for the Supreme Court of Judicature of New York, also the Chief Justice for the Supreme Court of Judicature in New York, but as well as Secretary of the U.S. Navy, before finally becoming a associate justice. Now, he was nominated and was the only such justice to be so, nominated by President James Monroe. So, yeah, Smith Thompson was James Monroe's only nomination to the Supreme Court. Smith Thompson replaced Livingston. Uh, what was the dude's name? Brockhost Livingston? Something like that. Uh, bu- 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 Anyway, let's go through this list back up a bit. He replaces, Henry Brockhost Livingston. So Smith Thompson would become a Supreme Court justice. Let's see, what else do we have on Smith Thompson? Um, like William Johnson, he also was one who did dissent a number of times from Chief Justice John Marshall's decisions and opinions. But few of Thompson's opinions for the court related to actual constitutional questions. Let's see. But yeah, Smith Thompson of New York. Next person we're going to talk about is Robert Trimble. He is from Kentucky and was nominated to be an associate justice by John Quincy Adams, serving for a total of 2 years and 70 days. He would serve from June the 16th, 1826 to August the 25th, 1828, dying in office. Um, he did replace Thomas Todd. So yeah. Let's see. And like Smith Thompson was James Monroe's only Supreme Court nomination, Robert Trimble was John Quincy Adams' only Supreme Court nomination. So yeah. Let's see what else we have about Robert Trimble here. Born 1777 in Augusta County, Virginia, and died 1828 in Paris, Kentucky. Let's see. What else do we have for Trimble? Served as in the circuit court as in the Seventh Circuit. His only real education is reading law. But in his career, before becoming a Supreme Court justice, he practiced law in a private practice in Paris, Kentucky, was a state representative for Kentucky, was the second judge on the Kentucky Court of Appeals, was Chief Justice on the Kentucky Court of Appeals, as well as being District Attorney for the state of Kentucky, before finally being nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. Let's see. Um, he had very nationalist views, helping him get along with Supreme Court Justices John Marshall and Joseph Story, and almost always sided with Marshall on constitutional issues. Um, so yeah, Robert Trimble. Next person we're going to talk about is John McClain. He's from Ohio and was an associate justice that replaced Trimble. Because remember, we said Trimble only served for 2 years and 70 days. McClain ended up replacing Trimble. McClain served 31 years and 83 days. So he had a long term on the U.S. Supreme Court, serving from January the 11th, 1830 to April the 4th, 1861, dying as a Supreme Court justice. And of course, we know 1861, the Supreme Court, or the Civil War, was at this point going on. But John McClain was nominated by Andrew Jackson, the first of, I think, 6 justices nominated by Jackson. So, yeah. Let's take a look at John McClain. He was born in 1785 in Morris County, New Jersey, and died 1861 in Cincinnati, Ohio. So yeah, he is from Ohio itself, dying in Cincinnati. He had been a cabinet member. They don't say what president. Oh, he was appointed judge on the Supreme Court of Ohio, a position he resigned in 1822 to become commissioner of the General Land Office under President James Monroe. So yeah, he served as part of Monroe's cabinet. And this is from Britannica.com. Let's see. He resigned in protest over Andrew Jackson's open advocacy of the spoils system of political patronage. Jackson thereupon appointed him an associate justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. In a huge case in American history in the Supreme Court, we talked about a number of them being under the McClain, or not the McClain, but the Marshall Court. McClain in the next court was part of the Dred Scott versus Sanford case. A case that, in a minority opinion, McClain insisted that a slave became free when his owner took him into a state where slavery was not legally established. The position itself was reflected in the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. But yeah, John McClain. Not to be confused with Die Hard's John McClain. Next person we're going to talk about is Henry Baldwin, who is from Pennsylvania. He was an associate justice and assigned to the Supreme Court by Andrew Jackson. And he replaced Bushrod Washington. Baldwin served from January the 18th, 1830 to April the 21st, 1844, when he died as a Supreme Court justice. He served for a total of 14 years and 94 days. Let's take a look at Henry Baldwin. Born in 1780 in New Haven, Connecticut, and died in 1844 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Okay. Do we have any other particular information we want to add? Give me a moment. I'm looking over some of the information I have here. Okay. Henry Baldwin graduated with honors from Yale University. So there was his education, and had a private practice in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Elected to the first of 3 terms to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1816. An ardent supporter of President Andrew Jackson. He wanted to be named Secretary of the Treasury, but instead was appointed to the Supreme Court. But yeah, Henry Baldwin of, I think it was Pennsylvania. Yeah. And the last person of the Marshall Court, and the last person today we are talking about, is James Moore Wayne. And he was from Georgia. An associate justice that replaced William Johnson. Yeah. So he replaces William Johnson, serving from January the 14th, 1835 to July the 5th, 1867, when he dies as an associate justice on the Supreme Court. He serves for a total of 32 years and 172 days. Now, what else do we have on James Moore Wayne? Served as a circuit court judge for the 6th and 5th Circuits. And his education was from the College of New Jersey, now Princeton University, and from reading law. Had a private practice in Savannah, Georgia. Was a U.S. Army captain during the War of 1812. a state representative for Georgia, the mayor of Savannah, Georgia, judge for the Court of Common Pleas, and Oyer and Terminer for the city of Savannah, Georgia, a judge for the Superior Court of Georgia, then a United States representative from Georgia in the House of Representatives before finally being elected or nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. Let's see, he was born 1790 in Savannah, Georgia, and died July of 1867 in Washington, D.C. And like we mentioned, he was he did die as a Supreme Court justice. Was a strong supporter of Andrew Jackson's administration in almost all its major measures, and was thus appointed to the Supreme Court by Jackson. Although he was a Southerner, he remained loyal to the Union and kept his seat during the Civil War. But yeah, James M. Wayne, or James Moore Wayne. But that was everybody we were wanting to talk about. Next video, we will be talking about the cases as seen by the Marshall Court, before jumping into the next court, the Roger Taney Court. Which stretches from 1836 to 1864. So during the Lincoln administration. And that's when we'll see the next Supreme Court justice. But yeah, after Taney, the Chief Justices don't stay on the bench near as long. It's just Marshall and Taney were on there for quite a while. But yeah, next video we'll talk about the cases the Marshall Court saw and was famous for. But as always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll try to have the sources listed in the description below the video, as always. But I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.